Okay, so I'm here with Matthew Carroll, who is the External Communications Coordinator for the Youth Constituency, and I'm going to ask him some questions about the youth here in Copenhagen. So, Matthew, hi. I'm wondering if you can tell me a bit about yourself and what your role is here in Copenhagen.
Yeah, so my name is Matthew Carroll, and I'm coordinating the external communications for all of the youth groups that are present at the climate negotiations. What I'm doing is working on media, press releases, media advisories, and just trying to help all the youth groups that have come here to the negotiations try and be effective in getting their message out to the world.
Great, and give me an idea, approximately how many youth are here at the negotiations?
Yeah, we've got about 1,000 young people from over 100 different countries that are here to take part in the Climate Summit for the next 2 weeks.
Great, and why do you think it's so important for youth to be here participating in the UN Climate Summit?
Youth are the generation that are going to be impacted by climate change. The young people that are here at the summit today are going to have to spend their entire lives dealing with solving this problem, implementing the solutions, and, depending on the outcomes, dealing with the consequences of climate change. So they're really the folks that have the most to lose and the most to gain from what's happening here at the Climate Summit for the next 2 weeks.
Great. So we're here together. We're talking on the second day of the summit, and the summit lasts for 2 weeks total. So I'm wondering if you can tell me, going home from Copenhagen in 2 weeks from now, how will you guys know you've been successful? What would you like to see coming out of this climate summit?
There's a few things. The most important is that we need a treaty coming out of the summit that's fair, ambitious, and binding. And what I mean by that is fair because the historical situation is that the rich countries have been responsible for most of the emissions that have caused climate change, and the poorer countries that are now feeling the impact of climate change the worst have been least responsible for solving the problem. So a treaty that's fair is one that redresses that balance. It needs to be ambitious in that we need to not take a baby step in the right direction, but actually go a long way and really set targets that are in line with the science that will effectively deal with climate change and give us a safer future to look forward to. And binding because it has to be legally binding. We can't just have a political agreement here in Copenhagen. We need one that's going to actually hold governments to account and ensure that those targets are met. So yeah, fair, ambitious and binding. And then in terms of the youth, I'd like to see the process reflect the fact that youth are one of the primary stakeholders in the negotiations better. We've got something called constituency status for the first time here in Copenhagen, and that means that youth are being recognised as a formal constituent of the negotiations. That's still tentative. We still have a couple of years before that will be permanently finalised, so I'd like to see that be finalised and to see the role of the youth within the negotiations continue to increase.
Great. Well, thank you so much for talking to me, and good luck over the next couple of weeks here in Copenhagen, and I'm sure we'll cross paths again.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks, Liz.